Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alex Garcia. I'm a software support specialist over here at DistributorCentral. Today's webinar, we're going to go over basically the order process. So what happens when you get an order? How do you place an order? How do you go about creating customer accounts? What do I do for payment options? So we'll kind of touch base on all of those. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat along the way and we'll get those answered. And I'll also save some time at the end, about 5 or 10 minutes, to go over any questions. So stick around for that, answer them over the chat here and also on the webinar, so you'll be able to hear. I'll list the question and then answer it for you. But if you do have any questions, we'll answer those along the way too. But we'll go ahead and get started. So once you log into your DistributorCentral account, you're going to come to your home page. So this is going to be where you do all of it's basically like your one-stop shop, your main hub. And now there's a couple ways you can do orders. You can do orders on the back end through DistributorCentral and through your account, or you can do orders through your website. So there's some distributors that already have an established website, and they already have a book of business with their customers that they have, and they just need to place orders through. They don't really need a website. They just need to place orders through DistributorCentral. So you can place orders through your DistributorCentral account on the back end. Placing it through the back end will allow you to see net versus retail pricing. If you're new to the industry, net is going to be your cost as a distributor, retail as end user. You'll be able to see who the suppliers are, their contact information. So basically all the stuff you would see as a distributor that your customer, your end user customer, wouldn't see on the website. The website is more retail facing, so they will be able to see retail pricing, item number, item name, and that's about it in regards to the details of, they won't see net pricing, they won't see who the supplier is. That'll all be on the back end. So as I mentioned, you have distributors that will do their business through the back end, through the dashboard. And then you have other ones that'll take advantage of our responsive websites. They're free. They come with the SSL certificate. They're compatible with cell phone, laptop, desktop, and tablet. And so they'll build a nice website, send that off to their customers, let them place the orders, and then they'll process it through their DistributorCentral account. All our websites are e-commerce enabled, ready to go. So if you have merchant account through Authorize.net, PayPal, PayJunction, or Stripe, you can integrate your API and do all your transactions through DistributorCentral. We'll go over that here shortly when we get into the payments. But what I want to do is kind of show you guys what it looks like when you place an order. How do I pull up a previous order? What does it look like when I get an order from my website as opposed to when I place the order in the back end on my account? So first, we'll start off with placing an order through DistributorCentral, and then I'll show you what it looks like when an order comes in from your website. So once you get into your account, you'll just come up here to products, and you can type in an item number, a keyword. We're going to start off with just do a basic tumbler search. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick a product here once it pulls up. So now you can see the product search here is ready to go. Once you find one that you want, you'll just click add to cart, or you can click on it here underneath it, and it'll take you to the product details page, and you can click order now. This is going to start the order process. If you're placing an order online, it's a little bit different than if you're, online through your website. It's a little bit different than if you're doing it through the back end, and you'll see that here in a second. If you're doing it through the back end and you want to assign a customer to it, I would first recommend coming over here to the customers tab on the left-hand side. And you'll see right here with the customers, these are going to be any of the customers that you've created on the back end, which I can do here by add new customer. Or in order for your customer to place an order on your website, they have to go in and create a username and password. Once they have that username and password, they're able to log into their account on your website, and they can access their order history. They can request reorders from you. but you can see all the information here in the customer list. So as you can see here, I have a couple of them that I've created. So you can see also it tracks the order count. So we'll start off with the customer list here because we're going to create one from the back end, and it's best to have a customer tied to it so you can track the orders, as you can see here. So once you have your customer created, you can come in here and you can see that it's going to keep track of it. Now this is going to be whether you're placing it on the back end or if your customer logged into their account on your website. As long as they're logged into their account, then it'll automatically keep it updated here. So you can go back and look at the order history just like they can look at the order history on your website. But once you create your customer account, you have the option over here to edit it. There's a couple options. So as I mentioned, you can click on the number here and it'll show all the orders for the customer as long as they've had the account. You can edit it, and we'll go into that here in a second. You can send their login credentials. So let's say they sign up for an account on your website, or if you're doing it on the back end, they don't know their login yet. So you can send them their login once you create it. It'll basically generate login information for them, and then they can log in and change their username and password. Show all orders is another quick shortcut. You can even create a virtual, business card, or you can delete it. So we'll go ahead and edit it real quick so you can see the different options you have here. So as I'm looking at it, you can see here company name, just basic information, and that's when you set it up, that's the information that you're going to provide. You can even assign a certain website to it if you want. If you do no website, then any of your websites on your DistributorCentral account, they'll have access to log in. So you don't have to assign it. If you only want them to be assigned to one website, you can set that up. If you come over here to contact info, that's how you're going to change their information. So click view and edit. This will allow you to get in there and edit the current, or if you wanted to add another contact, you can add a different contact. So if you want to do like customer service, orders, billing, you can create another contact for them besides just their main one. Correspondence. So correspondence is you'll see the activity that's been made. So once I place an order with this distributor, with this customer, that it will notate it here in the account, or I can notate it myself by adding correspondence. I can set terms. So we get a lot of distributors that contact us and say, this customer is not taxable, non-taxable. So if you just come over to the terms, you can click no for the customer is taxable. And then the credit cards will be back to the merchant accounts, where once they enter in their credit card on their website, or if you do it in the back end, if you enter it in for them, there's an option to check a box to save the card for future use, and it'll show up here in the credit cards. It'll store their credit cards for them. So once you have your customer created, now you're going to go ahead and place the order on the back end. Like I said, you don't have to have a customer account for every order you place, but if you want to track them under one spot, that's the best way to do it. So now we'll go back to where we were with the tumbler. And I'm just going to click add to cart, which is going to start the order process. And you can see right here, it's asking me for a customer. So I'm going to say browse customer, and I'm just going to pick one of them. I'm going to click next, and that's pulling from your customer list. So as we go through the order process here on the back end, you have the option to switch from net to retail. Right now I'm viewing net. I can switch to retail if I want. So you can flip-flop back and forth. And you'll see the order details here. As we go through it, they'll start to add additional information there based on what I'm doing. So if I just do normal 24, I'll pick my color. And then if I want full color or laser engraving, these are basically just the options that the suppliers provided on the actual product. I can add my artwork here if I want to. Another question that we get a lot is they think that when you have a website, they don't want their customer seeing this information. So this information is only going to show, this is supplier information, is only going to show on the back end through your DC account. If your customer is going to go through the same process if they're placing an order on your website for the same item, but this would be your information here. It wouldn't say Diamondback Branding. It wouldn't show them who the supplier is. So from here, you can add instructions if you have, or you can add comments to the supplier. We'll just keep it simple for now. And at this point, I could add another product if I wanted to. I can view the details. So it's going to, like I said, it's going to give you the breakdown of what you have so far. So we'll click next. Our orders automatically come with the order number generated, but if you have previously been using a PO and you'd like to continue that, you can add a PO to it. So I could just do test. And then you'll see payment for Diamondback Branding, which is the supplier. A lot of times you'll see bill to account, which means the supplier will contact you to set up payment. If you don't have a business relation with them, they'll reach out to you and get that going. So for future orders, it'll be a lot. You'll be able to go right through bill to account. They'll pull up your account and you'll be on your way. And then customer payment, we'll just do bill to account for now. We'll go into the payment options here in a second. And so then you just want to put your address in here, where you're sending it to. You can do a request ship date or in hands date. You can do a split shipment if you wanted to. So if I wanted to do 12 to one address, I'd do 12 out of 24 here, save the address, and then do 12 out of 24 to the next address. I'm just going to keep it simple for now. The shipping method, if you have a third-party shipping number, you can add that in there. Once you add that third-party shipping number, it'll be in there for your future orders, so you don't have to enter it in every time. And then you'll also see who the shipping carrier is that the supplier uses. So in this case, it's UPS, and then you see the different options that are available here. So we'll just click next, just keeping it simple. This is going to take us to the order review and confirmation page. And as you can see, as I mentioned before, we're still viewing net. So I could switch to retail if I want to. And then you also see a progression up here, 86% complete. So this is the last page. This gives you the option to go back and change anything that you want to change or add. So you can scroll down, everything looks good. Now, if you're ready to send it off to the supplier, which basically creates the PO and sends it to the supplier, you would check the green box. This is live, so I'm not going to do that. I'll check the middle one, which basically just creates the PO, or you can just save it and then create the PO later. So we'll go ahead and check that one. This middle one is how it's going to look when you get an order from your website too. So the order will come in, it'll have the PO created, but it's waiting for you to review and send. So through the website, if the order's placed, it'll never go from the end user customer to the supplier. It always goes to you as a distributor first to manage, take a look at, make sure it looks good, submit the PO and to the supplier. So we'll create the PO. So now I have the order created. So now I can come in here and I can still edit anything I need to. If I needed to cancel the order, I could cancel the order, which would void out the order. You can see here that the PO has been created. You can see who the supplier is. And then you can see all I need to do is click send and it'll send it off to them. So we'll just kind of go over this page here shortly, and then we'll go over how it looks when you get an order in from your website. So this is the order summary page. You're going to have your customer order section, which is retail, which you can see here. You're going to have your purchase order to supplier, which is your section as a distributor, which you see here. So a lot of times people will call in and they'll say, you know, I just placed an order. I'm getting ready to send the PO, but why is my cost $525? It's supposed to be cheaper than that. Well, if you come down here, your cost as a distributor is $359.82. So this is going to be the retail pricing for your end user customer. And this section is going to be for you as a distributor. So from here, you can do a couple things. You can change the status, which will notify the user if you've changed it. So let's say maybe you need artwork. Like I didn't submit any artwork and I'm waiting for it. I can change the status to artwork hold or art hold. Or if there's a problem with the artwork, all different statuses here you can change. And that will keep your customer updated. And also you can track that and search for that. And you'll see that here in a second. Same thing will happen when you submit the PO. This status will show up here and the supplier will have control over that. So the supplier will be able to go in there and they will be able to update the status information to you. So another thing is right here, this last part, invoice from supplier. If the supplier uses this on the back end, they can actually invoice you through DistributorCentral, and you'd see it show up here, and then you can just pay for it there. Or like I said, they'll contact you and set up payment arrangements. So if we're looking at this, this is basically the customer, the order summary page. From here, you can also create an invoice, which goes back to, okay, so I have an order placed. I don't want to send it to the supplier yet. I want to figure out how my customer is going to pay for this. So there's a couple things you can do there. So we'll come back. I'll just copy this real quick, and I'll show you how to get back to that, even if you don't remember your order number. So if we come over here to the menu on the side over here, basically what you're going to do is you're going to go to the account tab. You're going to go to payment, and we're going to go to payment setup. And so here you can see all the different payment types on the left-hand side. And you'll recognize one right here, which is bill to account, which is what the suppliers use too. So the suppliers have the same options as you do as a distributor. So like things like bill to account, bill to department, coupon code, I'll call you later with payment, pay later. Those are just going to be bullet points that they can check that lets you know when you see it on the back end what they chose for their payment option. If you're wanting to get more into the merchant account where they can enter in their credit card, you're going to be looking at, like I said earlier, so you got PayJunction, PayPal, Stripe, and Authorize.net, which is already over here. So just to kind of give you an idea, so let's say I wanted to use Authorize.net and bill to account. If you just use Authorize.net, then what it's going to do is, in regards to your website, when your customer's checking out, they'll have to enter in a credit card. Once they enter in their credit card, then they'll be able to process the order and send it to you. If you don't have anything there, then what'll happen is they'll be able to submit the order on your website, and it'll go to you, and then you'd follow up with them to collect payment and whatnot. Like I said, it's never going to go from the end user to the supplier. It's always going to go through you as a distributor. So if you did the bill to account, which a lot of people will do to start off, then that means that this customer already has a previous account with you before you even maybe started using DistributorCentral. You have their information already in your system, so you know you can charge them and whatnot. If you want to use the merchant account, like I said, if you have one through, we'll just do Authorize.net as an example. So with Authorize.net, then you're just going to click save. So any of them you add over, you'll click save. Then you'll see it says credentials invalid because there's nothing in there. So what we need to do now is we need to connect the API so it can basically contact your merchant account and work seamlessly to allow you to do these payments. So I just click edit settings, and all you do at this point is you would log into your actual Authorize.net account, and you would be able to pull this information, enter it in here, and then click save. So this will then allow you to either charge the customer on the back end, like let's say they called in, you could enter in their credit card directly, charge it, save it like I mentioned earlier, or your customer can do it on the website, put in their information, and last but not least, you could generate an invoice with the Pay Online Now link that would be connected to your merchant account where they can make a payment. So we'll go ahead and go back here real quick. So you can see, like I said, there's quite a few options here. And with PayPal, you have the paid versions. So the paid versions of PayPal is going to be Pro Merchant and then PayFlow Pro. So it depends on which, when we talk about the paid versions of PayPal, a lot of people will say, yeah, I have PayPal, and they're not sure whether they have PayFlow Pro or Pro Merchant. If you have one of those two, then you're going to be paying usually a monthly fee. Otherwise, you're going to have the free PayPal, which is just associated with your email. A lot of people like to use that one that don't have any paid merchant accounts. So what that one is it's a PayPal real-time merchant. And so I'll show you that one here real quick as an example. So we'll move that over, click save. And the same thing, we're going to go through, edit the settings. So this is the one that's associated with your email. So whatever email you have associated with your PayPal account is the email you'd put in here, click save. And then what that's going to do is it's a little bit different than the merchant accounts themselves, which if I go back here real quick so you can see, you'll know the merchant accounts because they have the credit card in front of it. So those are going to be the ones that you're setting up the API. And then the PayPal, the free one, will be the PayPal real-time merchant. What this does is this will allow you to still send invoices to your customer with the Pay Online Now link, but it's going to redirect them to your PayPal account. Same thing if they're placing an order through your website, they'll be redirected to your PayPal account to make a payment. Now, a lot of questions we get is, what if my customer doesn't have a PayPal account? It's going to give them the option to either sign into their PayPal account so they can use their credit cards, bank information that they have associated with their PayPal account. If they don't have one, they don't need to have one. It'll just allow them to enter in their credit card information. So that's another one, popular one that people use that don't have a merchant account, is just the PayPal, because it's easy to set up. PayPal's free, it's associated with your email. So you have that option there. So once you have that, let's go back to authorize.net. Let's say we were going to use that one. So once you have that in there and you're ready to go, and let's say I have all the information in there, it's set and ready to go. The next thing you want to look at is, how do I want to collect payment? Like, I have my merchant account, but how do I want to process the payment? So if you come over here to the account tab again, go to preferences, and then go to account preferences, and then go to payments in the little sub menu here. You can see right here that you have options. So you can do authorize only, which is basically going to, let's say a customer goes to your website and they place an order for $500. You have authorize.net in there with the authorize only preference. When they go to check out, if they don't have $500 on their credit card, it's not going to go through. If you choose the no authorization, what it's just going to do is store the credit card, which you'll be able to charge later. And then the authorize and capture will actually take the payment right then and there from their card. So if it's available, they'll take it. If it's not, it'll get denied. So you have the different options you can choose here. So that's one thing to think about. Let's go back to the order, and let's say that we want to go ahead and do the invoice like we talked about. So if you don't know the order number, if you do know the order number, you can come up here to the products, go to order number, and just put the order in, and it'll pull it right up. If you don't know it, let's say it's next week and you don't remember the order number, an easy way to do is come over here to orders, click on that. It's going to pull up a little small menu here, and you're just going to go to recent orders. So recent orders is any orders placed within the last 30 days. So you do recent orders, and you can see it's right there at the top, and then I can pull it up. Another thing you can do, which I was talking about earlier, is let's say you want to look at your orders for like the last 3 months. You can come up here to new search. So you would do the same thing, orders, recent orders. If you didn't have any, it would say no orders found. You would still have this new search here. Click on that. Then you can come down here to the created date span range, and we'll just do 90 days. Click search. And then you can see that I have one more order within the last 90 days that I've placed. And you can go back as far as you've had your DistributorCentral account. So if I wanted to do like 365 days, which is a year, you can see I can go back and track the history of all of it. So you don't need to know the order number. If you forget it, you can come in here and check on it. You can also search for the PO number. So as you saw when I did the order, you can also search for the PO, which you can do here. When you go to new search, you can either enter in the order number or the PO number. So this is just another way for you to pull up orders, past orders, check out your order history. Like I said earlier, with the status on the order that you control, you can change the order status. So if I had some that were, let's say I want to see the ones that have artwork problems, I can pull that up and it'll only pull up those orders. So multiple ways that you can check on your order. But let's go ahead and go back to the order. So we'll go to recent orders, 30 days, go to the one that we just did. And let's say we created the order on the back end. So now we want to invoice our customer to get the payment. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to invoice to customer right here. And we're going to create an invoice. And so now the invoice is created. I can click send, and it's going to pull up the information. So it's going to have your email as a distributor, it's going to have your customer's email. It's going to have your email as the distributor. Then you can choose whether you want to do HTML, PDF, or HTML and PDF. So the HTML will include that Pay Online Now link that we were talking about. So as long as you have your merchant account set up, connected through the API, fill in that information that we discussed previously, or if you have your free PayPal, as long as it's connected to your email and set up correctly, then it'll include that Pay Online Now link that you can send to your customer and they can pay that way. So we'll go ahead and cancel that out real quick. So if you needed to get rid of it, you can delete it and you can generate another one. Also, when you, let's say we went ahead and did it, or let's say that you collect, let's say maybe you have Square and you want to use Square. So you can still send the invoice through the Distributor Central. So if I come over here to edit after I create the invoice, I can come down here and add additional comments, and I could create a payment link in there for my Square account and put that there. That way when they click on it, they can make a payment and they can see the invoice here itself. If that's the case and you do use outside payment, you know, Square, QuickBooks, stuff like that, when you come back to the actual, after you've sent it, so I'll send it here real quick. So we'll just go ahead and send it. And I'll do include HTML and PDF. You can pick whichever one you want. This is just going to give them a copy of the invoice via PDF. HTML will be so they can click on it and see it, and then it'll also have that Pay Online Now link. So I'm just going to go ahead and send it. So like I said, if you're using one outside of Distributor Central and they make a payment, if you're using one of the merchant accounts and stuff that we use, it'll automatically update here and say it's paid when it's paid. Otherwise, you'll have to come in here, like if you're using Square or like we talked about QuickBooks, you can come in here and just mark as paid. And now you can see it's marked as paid, so you know it's been paid. You can add comments in it to it if you need to, but then that's how you can go in there if you want to use an outside merchant account or a different means of payment instead of going through the ones that we offer that we're integrated with. And so the only thing left to do would be to send the PO. Like I said, it's live, so I'm not going to send it because that would send it off to Diamondback Branding. They would have it and then they would start the order process, contact you if anything is wrong with it. So that's how you do an order on the back end through your Distributor Central account. Now, how does it look when a customer places an order on your website? So let's say I just log into my account, automatically come to my homepage, Product Central. Coming back up here to the orders dropdown that we talked about before. So I'm just going to click on that. And you can see right here, it says new orders. So this new orders is associated with any websites that you have currently on Distributor Central. So to give you an idea, you come over here and I click on websites, hosting manager, and these are all the current websites that I have active on my account. So an end user customer could place an order on any one of these websites and they'll all come into the same place where you can see it right up here. So if I go over here and I go to new order, you can see there's one. So now it looks exactly the same as before. We're on the order summary page. And then you'll see here that we just need to create the PO and send it to the supplier. But if you look right here, you can see which website it was actually ordered on. So if you have multiple sites like I do, you can see which one it was ordered on. So it'll tell you right there. And then it's basically the same thing as if you were doing an order on the back end. So I'm just going to create the PO. I can add a comment in there if I want to. So creating the PO doesn't send it to the supplier, it just creates the PO for you. But then when you send it, that's when it gets sent to the supplier. So I'm not going to send it because it's live, but you can see it's almost identical to the same way I placed an order on the back end. The difference is here is the status will say received when it's coming from your website. So you can change that to whatever you want. But like I said, it's basically the same thing. So you can see there's multiple ways to do your business through Distributor Central, and we just wanted to show you that today. You can do it through the back end. You can do it through create a nice website and have your customers, tell you what kind of products they want, submit those orders to you. So you can do it either way. Websites are e-commerce enabled. Even if you don't have a website, you can still use your merchant account, or if you want to use a free PayPal account, you can do that in order to collect payments. You can even use an outside merchant account such as Square or something like that that we're not currently integrated with, to take payments from your customers. But I just wanted to show you guys a quick demonstration to show you how to get in there, what revolves around orders, how to place an order, how to manage your customers, and then, if you have any other questions, as always, feel free to give us a call. One other thing I want to tell you guys about is any questions you guys have at all, feel free to call us, email us. But another thing you can check out is we have a Help Academy. It's help.distributorcentral.com. I have it right here. So, we just did the one for the orders. So if I type in orders here, you can see all the results here. So how to create and send a purchase order, custom orders, how to search for orders, different kind of things here. If I wanted to do payment, just a couple of things we went over, testing payment setup. There's all different kinds of stuff that we use here. We create these guides to help you guys out. A lot of them have videos associated with them too, but you can always refer back to the webinar, in which you'll be receiving a link to the recording here. But you can always refer back to, I definitely recommend checking out our Help Center. We call it our Help Academy. And then also we have a webinar page. So if you go to our webinar page, which is gotostage.com/channel/DC webinars, you can see a list of all the most recent webinars that we've had, kind of going from left to right, top to bottom. So you can check out the ones that we've done in the past. But as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call, 888-516-7401. Office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, or email us anytime at info@distributorcentral.com. Like I said, I'll stick around for a little bit and answer any questions you guys have. Hope you guys have a great day.